very, 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 very important topic, and I'm not trying to seduce anybody here, quite honestly. I'm just trying to be objective and protect my fellow citizens, all of us here. First of all, posterity should not have to pay for anything that they themselves didn't actually cause to happen. That's very immoral. If you spend money on something and say, you have to pay for that, it's not my responsibility, quite honestly. Now, let's talk about how debt is destructive and when it's not destructive. There's a time and place for debt. Now, if I want to start a business and I want to go into a little bit of debt to borrow money to make it work, that's great. Of course, so long as I can demonstrate that I have a good idea, okay? But if we're talking about the government has there's no reason for a government ever to be in debt. Because the purpose of a government, it has one purpose: protect your citizens. You can't protect your citizens if you're in debt. You can't. God forbid there's a war. And you are in debt? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. You need to constantly have money to be able to support yourself, to save yourself. Now, there was an interesting comment also. A gentleman said, quotes, "Thank God for debt." I don't know what God you worship, and you have the right to worship whatever you believe, but the Judeo-Christian God actually does not look to debt as something that is good. It is a sin. We are told, first of all, thou shalt not steal, which I think is a pretty universal concept. I don't think you have to be a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or what have you to believe that theft is wrong. I think theft is wrong. And
I don't think religion belongs in politics.
Well, free speech belongs in America, and politics is based on the freedom of speech, which actually someone had spoken about a documentary and concern about how it was going to make the town look. Quite honestly, the documentary has the right to make the town look however it wants the town to look, because it's called freedom of speech. In this country, even a guy is allowed to call the people he disagrees with, he's allowed to say, "Shut up, you asshole." I don't agree with it. I think it's immoral. I think it's improper. I think it's destructive. I think it doesn't actually help anybody solve a problem. Instead, it just gets people upset. We don't say, how does this get to the solution? But you should just be allowed to say it. I don't think you should say it, though. But just this point on the debt is so important. What happens...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are you going around to the 565 municipalities throughout New Jersey, or I should say the 14th district?
Well, I have been touting in East Windsor. I'm going to Robbinsville this week.
Are we the first one you're...
No, you're the second.
Oh, no, he was
And I sure let East Windsor know how I feel about this topic. I went to Rush Holt and said also that I'm upset with the debt on every level, and there's so many things we could do to address this.
I'd be happy to have this conversation with you personally and talk about how it works, municipal government, and our responsibilities. We're certainly not going to war,
right?
But I don't anticipate, at least. So, like I said, at your convenience, I'll be happy to meet with you and introduce you to how we do business in Hightstown and what this budget's all about, how it rolls up to $6.5 million. So, try to give you a little bit of an education on what we're about.
And I do appreciate that, and I think that's so important, and I hope everybody here knows how willing you are to communicate with them. So there's been some name calling, and there's been a little bit of frustration expressed. But if we as people here in a town, whatever our role may be, we all are allowed to have an opinion, and we should all share that opinion, but it should be objective. And if we're really angry and we need to curse, we need to go outside and do it ourselves, to ourselves, and then come in and compose ourselves. There was a gentleman here who I really, really like the way you talk, sir. I took note to it, and wish that I could do it automatically. I don't. But, he acknowledges your sincerity. And that is so humbling and proper and constructive. And I think the word constructive here is very important.
Excuse me, if you like my way I talk so much, I would ask that you draw to a conclusion on behalf of all of us, because if you don't, you're going to make it impossible for all of us to come to the next meeting and speak, because they're going to put a curb on the speaking time at the podium.
Well, you put a curb on me being able to videotape him, and that was really rude, sir.
All right, let's get back to if you can make your finishing remarks, please.
Okay, well, I do have respect for you, sir, but with all due respect, if it takes Rand Paul 12 hours to make a point to the government, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. And I'm not just talking to the government, I'm talking to my fellow town people. I'm willing to be up till 3 in the morning to come up with good solutions. I'm willing to, and I do it.
But you're referring that by keeping all the officials here.
Come on, everybody, I don't need any comments from again, I'm offering to you to sit with you at your convenience. Because I would be happy to give you a bit of an education on municipal government. Some of the statements you are making sounds as if you need a bit more of an education. And again, at your convenience. There's a lot to learn. It's taken me a while to learn this. I'll be happy to transfer whatever I know to you. And so, again, that invitation is still outstanding. So.
And I appreciate that, so I will conclude with just one last point. And the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, people may have to work in trailers. I'm sorry, but the assets this country has is low, it's poor. And we have to address the fact that we can't spoil ourselves and spend and spend and spend. And I appreciate the fact that people should have the best working conditions possible, but unfortunately, the past generations, certainly not my generations, but unfortunately, the past generations did spend and spend and spend and spend and put themselves in a situation where this is the response. You don't have a surplus, so you're not in a position to go and give yourself a luxurious building. You don't have that luxury and you don't have that right, quite honestly. And I would, quite honestly, spend 12 hours to say it, but I think I've made myself crystal clear now. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Which God? Which God?